do you have any difference in hearing me now?
That's better.
Much better?
Yeah.
And now also stronger?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my headphones for this, and I have so many microphones, I just have to figure out which one is gonna work because that's best I can get here in jungle.
No, it sounds much better now, Darko. So whatever you did,
Okay,
whatever you did
okay.
worked.
So I'm gonna use this one. I see. Okay, so anyway, here we have been on these questions. Now, another question that I have here, let me see. Because of circadian rhythm, do we need to eat breakfast and whatever? Well, circadian rhythm has something to do with it, of course. It's because of electromagnetic pull of the sun and the moon. And as they circle around and there are different relationship, we are being affected differently. But again, the circadian rhythm is not that important. And why do we know that? Because you have people that work at night and sleep during the daytime, and they could have a pretty healthy lifestyle once they get used to it. It's all about how body gets used to it. You have miners that work under the ground, out of light, out of electromagnetic influence so much from above, and they are doing okay. So to me, it is like people asking, well, what is healthier for me to have a cheese on my salad or sausage? Well, salad is unhealthy to begin with, so no matter what you put on it, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so same is with these other things. Today I just made a video trying to explain a little bit that it's all about frequency, and the frequencies are of electromagnetic character. Now, these frequencies can be transported through light, they can be transported through sound, they can be transported through odor, and through sense of pressure. Now, people ask for methods. Well, what do you think about, do we need infrared light, and is it healthy for us? Or the sound therapy, should we use the sound therapy, do sound therapy? Well, you can use any of these methods, and they all have benefits, and they have places where they work and when they don't work so well. But the essence of everything is vibration, and source of vibration is electromagnetism. So the best impact on the whole body you are going to have through electromagnetic pulsation. And this is what MedBed is all about. And there are some other equipment based on electromagnetic pulsation. But again, what is the spectrum of the pulsation? Because the spectrum we use is pretty broad, but again, when you take in consideration the possibility, which are infinite, then the spectrum is very small. And you have to realize that your whole reality is only your body's interpretation of electromagnetic pulsation utilizing a program and sensors of the body. So through your eyes, you are going to be turning a light waveform into light particles to create pictures. Through your sense of smell, you are going to take a frequency and you are going to assign it a particular smell. So when you take a rose and you smell it, and you smell the flavor, the scent of a rose, then you are talking about frequencies which come from sacred geometrical architecture of crystal that your brain interprets through eyes and through sense of smell. They are similar vibration, but slightly different. One interpreted through light, one through scent of smell. Foundation of everything is the vibration in general, the basic vibration. And when you talk about the healing devices, well, your best healing device is your brain, because your brain creates everything. Everything that you see, everything that you hear, everything that you know comes through your brain, decoding electromagnetic pulsation. So if it can create everything, then it can heal everything and it can destroy everything. So you want to heal yourself, then you have to basically ask your brain, tell your mind to order the brain to heal you. Now, the only problem is that your mind has to understand it. And how can your mind understand it and be 100% sure that this is going to happen when through schooling process and through our religions and through our habits of understanding things, we know things to be different. So if you are told that there are certain atoms that create molecules, and those molecules then create a living tissue, then you think, okay, I need this atom, I need oxygen, I need carbon, I need then I need a molecule of carbon dioxide. And you start playing with very limited portion of frequencies, when in fact, everything we know is false. There is no such a thing as a carbon, as an element, as an atom, because it's just a point of energy, of sacred geometry that we are using, vibration. And it creates its electromagnetic field that we call electronic orbit of electron. Well, electron doesn't exist unless you create it with your mind. And then you start believing in its existence. But it doesn't exist. Because if electron would exist, then it would have to be in many places at the same time to achieve these so-called chemical reactions, which don't exist. And once when you understand that everything is based on false science, and the truth is all in vibration and energy, you cannot destroy, but you can change its vibration. How can you change vibration of energy? Simple, by introducing a magnetic force. Magnetic force is going to change the vibration. They discovered that also with 5G towers. 5G tower can shoot out frequency of microwaves that will kill you, that will fry you. But if you strategically position magnets around it, it creates healing energy that is going to actually heal you. Now, we are not being told that much. It is mentioned, and who is researching will find this information. But majority of people is not aware of this. So at one point, it was even questionable, should we destroy these towers or should we just put magnets around them? The problem is that once when you have something that can be used negatively, you are always playing with fire, that there will be some moron that will take the magnets off. And pow, you have disaster going. So it is best to destroy it and go another way, just immediately create the healing frequencies and not modulate the toxic frequencies into healing by using magnets. And again, what is magnet? Magnetism comes from a sacred geometry. And I explained it on Vesica Pisces. So when you have two waves shooting one through another, then as they go through a field of another wave, they keep pushing on it, and this is magnetic positive. And the force that tries to keep it together is magnetic negative. And again, it's all about frequency. Many people think, oh, wave of frequency, oh, this is like a wave on a sea that comes and rolls in, and this is what we see when we look at cardiogram. Well, wave is not going like this. A wave is spreading as a circle. Okay, and yes, it could be higher, it could be lower. Higher means stronger, but higher frequency means the waves are closer together. When signal comes faster, this creates higher frequency. Not if the wave is higher or lower. This is just the strength of it, but in the same frequency. So again, we have to, there is no box that we can crawl in and now use this box for healing or understanding the body, because nothing is in boxes. Everything is connected. So if you want to understand frequency of healing, well, first you have to understand frequency. Now you are going, but the physics we are being told is manipulated in many ways. So the best way is, again, plug directly into the source and start learning from the source, which we have never been told to do, and we don't even know how to do it. So we are fishing around, trying to find a way to connect. It is good now at this time to listen to all these channelers around and people that have been dead for a while and they came back, because they all come enlightened because they realized the truth and came back to spread the message. And there is plenty of it now on the internet, and I encourage everyone to spend some time and listen to these things, because you will get a broader understanding of reality and this way of universe and yourself. Now, let me see for other questions. So here, again, morning flush. After drinking plasma, and when we have a morning flush, do we need to drink more plasma? And if we have too much diarrhea, is this going to dehydrate us? If you notice that through protocol, there is a minimum of 3 liters of plasma we have to have a day. This is not that the body requires this, but this is what we need to provide to prevent dehydration when the body is cleansing mode. Because when body is cleansing, it is releasing toxins from the tissue or from the cells and actually polluting the blood. As blood gets more toxic, it requires more plasma to cleanse it. Now, this toxin, this is not like cyanide that you are releasing from a body. These are very, very mild toxins in most cases. So they were not bothering the body at all. It is just that accumulation of them, the concentration becomes higher, and body wants it out. And for this, it needs more plasma. And because it's not very toxic, there are programs running. One program is saying, okay, body needs this amount of plasma in the blood. Another program says, well, the toxicity level should be on this level here of this particular toxin. So now there is a gap that has to be bridged. And you have the programs now deciding what is more important, maintaining the plasma or use some of the plasma and eliminating the toxins. It's all based on calculation that your brain does. And if the brain calculates and says, well, the toxicity is not really that bad, I really need more plasma. So you start absorbing more plasma and you don't have any diarrhea and you don't even urinate. So now all of a sudden you say, wait a minute, but I did not really eat anything and I was regular on bathroom. And now all of a sudden I'm getting constipated. And if I drink X amount of plasma, well, it is all about toxicity, level of toxicity in the blood that the program is going to then judge. Does it need more plasma to get it out or no? If you want to eliminate those toxins without raising more plasma levels, then you have to make the toxicity stronger. And this you achieve with diuretics. Or you eat something that is toxic, like garlic or turmeric. It increases toxicity and pow, you go to bathroom without having to drink more water. And this is why, again, well, we need really vegetables because you see, when I eat vegetables, I am more regular in a bathroom. I don't have to drink that much plasma and salt, and I'm regular. So vegetable is good. Well, it is good because it poisons you more. So body is forced to release it even when it is low on plasma. And this is what causes dehydration. So it's, again, understanding how the body works. It's all program related. We are robots. Body is not healing because of its consciousness. It is healing because of programs that run it. And if you supply enough of plasma, if you stop poisoning it, then the programs adjust and start cleansing the body, and body starts healing. If the body would be conscious, then it would never put itself in a danger to have inflammation of a throat to prevent you from breathing, like anaphylactic shock, and you die because of inflammation. Body would never do that if it would be a smart body. It's not smart, it's a stupid robot. And our mind, our consciousness is using it. But if we are using it in the wrong way, the robot is not going to work well. If we know how this robot works and we can help it, it works better. And we can actually use it for manifestation and do incredible things with it. But not if we are following religion and not if we are following science. We have to follow truth, which we don't know. We don't know what truth is because we have been born into a world of lies. And now we are slowly, like a kid discovering little toys. Oh, I can use this toy, I can use this toy, and I can combine them. Oh, and I can do this. Well, we are just learning like a little toddlers in this new world that we are moving into. And unfortunately, the truth is completely different from what we have been told the truth is. And most people simply refuse to even pay attention to it. How can you tell me garlic is toxic when we know that garlic is healthy, it's a superfood, honey is healthy, it's superfood? Well, you call it superfood and you call it medicine. Well, medicine is not superfood. Medicine is toxic. So make up your mind. But again, we have been told that medicine is healthy. You medicate yourself not to be sick. This is not true. You medicate yourself when you are sick to suppress the symptoms. That's what you achieve with it, nothing else. Again, it's a completely new knowledge. Okay, let me see if any other question is here. Okay, about GLUT. GLUT is protein that absorbs, that is transporting mechanism for sugar, any kind of sugar. Now, of course, science has invented GLUT4, GLUT4, GLUT3, GLUT5. One is for fructose, one is for glucose, one is for saccharose. Nonsense. Okay, there is a transporting mechanism for sugar. You can call it whatever you want. If you call it GLUT, fine. It's a protein, and it will take any sugar. Now, the thing is that why do we have GLUT? Because our cells do need carboxyl group. Carboxyl group is from sugar, and it uses it to create amino acids so it can create proteins. But it doesn't need avalanche of sugar. It needs few molecules. So it sends out GLUT. GLUT traps the sugar, glucose, and brings it in. And then the glucose is being used in the process of creation of proteins. This is why we always have to have sugar in the blood. The only problem arises when sugar level of blood increases above what I call radar, in a situation that the body says, okay, there's too much sugar, it interferes with action of the body, and it has to be dealt with. And since this not usually, this is supposed to happen only when we are in a stress situation, when body releases glucose from glycogen, and that happens only when we are in a stress, under the influence of stress hormones. As soon as level of blood sugar in the blood increases, insulin is being injected. It's again robot. So sensor senses increase of sugar, and when it hits the insulin button, pew, insulin is being released, and now sugar is forced into the cells. If we don't do this, if we do not inject insulin, if we don't raise the blood sugar level, if insulin is not being injected, the cells will not absorb the sugar because it cannot passively go in. It has to be brought in. And then body will urinate it out, eliminate it, or try to convert it into fat because it can store it as a fat. We don't have glucose storage. And we are, again, scientifically misguided, told that body, the sugar that we eat, that body will then store it as a glycogen in a cell. This is a lie, because glycogen is not in every cell. Glycogen is only in muscle, in brain, and liver is the only organ that has a little higher quantity of it that can eject it into the blood. The glucose from glycogen, which is in the muscles or a brain, cannot go into the blood. It will never leave. It is for personal use of the emergency response. And since the only time that you should have elevated blood sugar is in a situation of stress, this is when the insulin is being released. But when you start eating the carbohydrate stripped of cellulose, you are actually starting to absorb glucose, and your body, again, it's a robot. So sugar level in blood increases because you absorb it through intestines, and body reacts like it is in a stress mode. Sugar is up, open insulin, and burn the insulin, create energy. and you create very quickly energy, and then you don't know what to do with this energy. So you start shaking, you become like a hypochondriac. Well, we call it bipolarity. All of a sudden, you are hyperventilating, but later on, as sugar level drops, you get sleepy, you get tired, and you don't know what to do with yourself. Well, your mood changes, you have swings of mood. This is all caused because of the diet. You are doing something, you are providing robot with a fuel that is not for your robot. So it has to keep adjusting and see how to maneuver in this situation. And this it does through genes, genetic response. So if you stop providing the stupid fuel from the outside, if you stop eating carbohydrates, then, and again, processed or cooked carbohydrates, because those carbohydrates have to be stripped of cellulose to do us harm. And if you start providing those, from all the sugars available, only glucose is going to be used by the body. So if there is a higher level of glucose available, your body starts increasing the GLUT mechanism, the GLUT reserves, to bring the sugar in, because this is what is, again, geared to do. And more often you have carbs, dietary carbs, strip of cellulose in your diet, the more GLUT you start producing to absorb it, and your absorption becomes stronger. And this is what we call the pre-diabetic state, because when you eat, your blood level of sugar jump up, but then after you stop eating, then they start going down, because you burn some of it you turn into fat, some of it you eliminate through urine, and everything is dandy. Until you start absorbing so much that it creates problem that the robot cannot deal with anymore. And then, of course, you can have destroyed liver or destroyed pancreas because of those things that they put in our bodies, and some antibiotics. And then you cannot produce insulin, so you cannot even force this into your cells to be manipulated. And then you are dehydrated, so you cannot even urinate it. And your life is in danger. So it's a variety of mechanisms that work together into resolving problems in the body. But if you stop taking carbohydrates in a food, then gradually the level of GLUT is going to drop, because there is no need. Why would you maintain 10 trucks, if you only have a job for one truck? And body is very precisely created mechanism that does not work on surplus, does not maintain what it doesn't need. You stop bodybuilding, your muscles disappear. Okay, you lose weight, your bones get thinner. So
could I ask a question on that point, please, Darko?
yeah.
So if you stop eating dietary carbohydrate, as in cooked plants, then your GLUT will decrease. But if you're eating a small amount of fruit, would that cause your GLUT to increase, or no?
No, because only glucose, because body knows what to do with glucose. It is programmed for glucose. So it is going to try to match the GLUT with level of glucose.
Mm-hmm.
Fructose, the body does not know what to do with. It is sugar, it will absorb it, but then has no use for it, so liver will have to turn it into fat. And that's it. And because body doesn't need it, body is not going to be increasing GLUT to bring more of it into the body when it senses. So you can have as many fruit as you want, and you will not increase your GLUT mechanism. But starches that will turn into glucose in your digestive system, well, as soon as glucose is present, then your robot starts adjusting. Okay, more glucose is present. I need more trucks to take it in. And it starts making more and more. Now, the only thing is the GLUT will take any sugar, including fructose. Actually, fructose is stickier. So some studies show that if there is a glucose and fructose, GLUT will take more fructose than will take glucose. So the question is, if you stop taking carbohydrates and you continue with the fruits, you are still having now fructose, even though your body doesn't need it, but you already have trucks for it. So is the body going to start lowering the amount of GLUT, diminishing the amount of trucks it has because there is no glucose, it's only fructose, or not? Well, that's my question too. And this is why, since we don't need fruits, the best thing is, if you want to low down your GLUT, stop eating all kinds of sugars. Don't eat any honey, no maple syrup, no fruits, and definitely no carbohydrates, processed carbohydrates. And then when sugar is not available, body immediately genetically starts reacting and starts limiting production of GLUT, lowering it down to a standard, which is the regular programming that we are born with, which basically can absorb up to 20 grams of sugars within 24 hours, no matter what sugar you give it. And once when you are so low on GLUT, well, you can eat a whole cake and all you will absorb is 25 grams of sugar. Nothing to create any problem in the body. This is why you can have people that can eat tons of sugar and tons of carbohydrates, and they are skinny, they don't produce fat because they don't absorb this sugar, because they don't have GLUT reserves. And how can you do this while eating carbohydrates? Well, if you restrict carbohydrates to 1 meal a day, let's say, or 2 meals a day, because most of the time, body will have to run on fat because carbohydrate is only available when you eat. And body will simply have to stay not in ketogenic state, but with many mitochondria activated. And it is not going to have any much need for GLUT because you are providing glucose once a day. So again, understanding the body, trying to find way to understand the body, you know. More often you supply it with sugar, the bigger need for transporter will be there, more GLUT you will produce. So it's not only having one big meal of carbohydrates and that is going to make a havoc. It is those pickings, the multiple times a day, just pick a little bit here, pick a little bit there, a little chocolate here, little candy there, a little piece of bread over here, a little bit of pasta over there, and you are constantly serving your body with sugar. GLUT immediately takes over and starts rapidly increasing. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, so let me see what here.
Ali was asking what could be causing belly bloating
What?
whilst on the protocol. So swollen belly, bloating, you know.
Bloating.
Mm.
Well, the organs or organ that is most vulnerable to toxicity is our intestines, because they are the first one getting in touch with the toxin that we eat. And they are also the first one to start getting dehydrated on cellular level and becoming very toxic. And all what happens with a cell when it's dry and it needs water to do its function? And intestines, they are mucosal tissue. What does it mean? They create mucus. And they create the mucus as a shield to shield themselves and to make a slippery surface so the stuff moves through intestines easily. So it serves also for protection. And if the cells are being exposed to toxic material, they will not absorb plasma. And it's not only the toxic material from the food that you eat, but also from the blood. And the cells will start dehydrating. And more dehydrated they are, the less mucus they are going to create. So finally, you are going to start finding a semi-dry coating over the intestinal wall from inside. We call it biofilm. Because it's simply so dehydrated, it cannot produce adequate amount of mucus. And when it is this situation, opportunity arises that it has to produce some mucus. And because those cells are dehydrated, they are going to be put under forced hydration, which is inflammation. And this is where all these problems that we gave a million names to, nonsensically, all these problems like a leaky gut syndrome, for example, they are not what doctors call them to be. You don't have leaky gut, because if something would be leaking from the intestine into the blood, you would be in sepsis. You would die. You cannot have protein from a foreign protein simply going into your blood. Your immune system will attack it. So there is never leakage going on, but the intestines become actually very dry, acidic, dehydrated. They cannot function properly. They cannot even absorb properly. And frequent inflammation occurs to force some liquid into the cells of intestines so they can produce some of the mucus that is necessary. And this is causing all these problems. We call them then bacterial problems. And, oh, you don't have the right bacteria, you have the wrong bacteria. Well, there is not really right and wrong bacteria, because bacteria doesn't produce a problem. Bacteria are there to help you digest what you should not be eating that you cannot digest normally. So now with bacteria, you are being helped to digest indigestible stuff, like overcooked meat, for example, or vegetable fiber. And all this actually creates problem, not because of the bacteria, but because of the food that you are taking. You change the diet, your bacterial flora changes, and everything is different. So when you start drinking plasma, you start cleansing. But again, your intestines, they're in very bad shape because they are highly dehydrated and toxic on the cellular level, with toxins embedded in them. And when they start releasing the toxins start actually bothering the body. Toxin will not bother the body if it is in a cell or if it is in a tissue, unless it goes into the blood, or unless it's too much of it preventing the proper functioning of the cell or tissue. But for that, you need already accumulation, you need to really eat terribly or being old. So for many years, you are accumulating that stuff to get into that situation. When you start cleansing, a lot of these toxins start getting released into the blood. And since those which are in the intestines, they will cause them inflammation. And inflammation causes pain and malabsorption. So you don't absorb even the gases very well. So causes bloating. And another cause for bloating is emotional release. Because again, you're talking about your gut, and your gut is your emotional center. And when you are releasing toxic emotional energies, you will be releasing them through gut and usually in a form of gas. So you may burp or you may fart, even though you are not eating anything. You can be fasting, and let's say you are third week in a fasting, you didn't eat anything for 3 weeks, and you are flushing and flushing and flushing, and all of a sudden you are starting having gas and burping and farting. Well, because it's emotional toxic release. Again, toxin is frequency, which is out of sync. Emotion is frequency. So if the frequency is out of sync, it will be released from a body, and it will be released in a form of gas. And also remember that whenever you have a concentration of toxins in a tissue, when this tissue receives plasma through lymph, okay, lymphatic system, then lymph becomes trapped in there because of sheer toxicity, because the robot is created in such a way that eliminates toxins. If it doesn't have enough plasma to eliminate them through the blood and out of the blood, then it is programmed to store them in a tissue. So now, when the toxins are being released, or when you are drinking more plasma, the lymph level increases, it goes in the tissue, and tissue is very toxic. Now the lymph becomes toxic, and because of the program of the body, it's not allowed to enter back the blood for cleansing, not in a level that it should be allowed. So there is a variety of programs running simultaneously, creating all kinds of symptoms that we then misinterpret, and we are always pinpointing on some stupid bacteria or finding some reasons which none of them are true. It's simply toxic release. Any other question?
Steve's got a question in the chat there, Darko. Can you see the meeting chat?
Let me.
Can you hear me? I can always ask it.
Yeah, okay, ask me.
Hey, Darko.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just because you were talking, I typed it. It was just about the blessing and structure in your food. I find it quite hard, like, because I've never done it in my life, and I see that's where we went wrong a lot in history. I'm trying to do it. You always forget. And I think on your Facebook we talked about the ITERA one. Do you know the frequency one about structuring? Some people are like, well, you need to have a really strong mind to structure water. I don't know. It's like, I just don't have any experience of doing it. I just wondered what you could sort of talk about in sense of that.
Well, there are many structuring devices. One of them in one of the last blogs, I mentioned one that is promoted and brings good results in structuring water. But I still stand behind the idea that it's all about vibration. And the your thought is reflection of vibrations. So let's say you want to structure water with your thought. You look at the water because that's where you put your focus. You say, okay, this water is structured. Always go with a statement that it's done, with affirmation. Because if you go with I am structuring, well, how long are you going to be structuring? When is this going to be finished? Okay, so it's not done deal. You always go with affirmation, it's done. So I've structured this water. And then how do you structure it? Well, I've structured it with love. This is one frequency. It's very broad frequency. But I structure with blessing. Blessing is reference towards creator. So it's even broader frequency spectrum. But you can also go into more detail. Let's say you have glasses. You want to improve your eyesight. I blessed it with eye healing frequency. Remember, your thought is representation of the action of the reality that you want.
Do you have to physically say it with words, do you think, though? Or,
if you say, well,
everyone says about, it's the words, but then in your mind, your thoughts are frequencies as well, right?
Your thought creates the frequency, voice amplifies it. It's like amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
And the louder you say it, the more you amplify.
Okay, so it's like kind of backup, yeah? And
the more lunatic you look like to others. Okay, so you are not going to go in a restaurant and say, I'm blessing this water, because everybody will start cracking up, laughing. Okay, so in that setting, you use your mind. But when you're home alone, let it go. Spill it out. Louder you do it, the better it is. The water vibrates from the power of the voice.
I think it's that self-consciousness, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
When you're on your own or when you're in front of people and like, what should you say?
Right. And yeah, we should not pay attention to it. But then again, how not to pay attention? Because I love to be naked. Now, of course, I'm not going to go naked to restaurant because, people look, you have to be self-conscious sometimes. So, to live in society, we have to kind of behave in certain parameters, but realize that your thought creates any frequency you want. And you just have to think the frequency. So more precise you are, more specific you are, the better it is. And I also was not accustomed to blessing, and I don't want my blessing to take time. I want it to be done quick. So the jar that I called water in, now remember, whatever you see in your reality exists in a quantum field in a form of pure energy. It's like a tape recorder, okay? And you can look at the jar that you hold your water in, and you say, well, this radiates with frequency of love, this with frequency of hydration, this with frequency of healthy eyes, this frequency with beautiful, plentiful hair, this with frequency with very flexible and very masculine body. So you pop in every frequency that comes in your mind that you would like to experience in your reality.
So if you feel like you're having a problem with a certain organ or something, you could focus on that's your frequency.
You just pop in the frequency into this device, which is your jar. And when you finish with this, just simply say, nobody but me can change this programming. So this way, if somebody is drinking from your glass or your jar and it's salty and goes, wow, what shit is this awful stuff, salty? So it will not affect the programming. Okay, it's there locked in by you. Nobody but you can change it. I did many experiments on this using energetic fields and using dowser. And this actually works like that. So then when you put water inside and you put salt, you mix it, you don't even have to say anything. It takes 17 seconds for water to get structured with all these crystals. Each thought is a crystal, particular shape of sacred geometry, which you are projecting into the water. And when you're drinking this, this is already structured going into your body and resonating. This is your medbed. You can create medbed from anything using your thoughts. You can put it in a field around you. What I did once, we were still living on a boat and in St. Martin, and we were working on raising our frequency. And we had one natural field where frequency was higher than anywhere else. It's like a portal. And we were going there to raise our frequency. And then I said to the dowser, I said, well, if we can create with a mind. So I point on a pavement, I make a circle, imaginary circle, and I said, this circle is going to radiate with frequency of 20,000 hertz. Because we were on at that time already, it's a not frequency or vibration of your body, but of your consciousness. And we were close to that level already. So I said, this radiates with this. And then I had Dowser to check it, and he had a machine that emits frequencies. So he put 20,000 hertz frequency on his machine. Then he puts the machine on the other side of the road. And as he is walking in between my circle and his machine, if the frequency is the same, his dowsing rods points into yes, it's an equal field. If not, they don't do it. And as he passed through it, he got this reaction. So then he went in a circle and asking, is this field of 20 hertz? And the rods told him, yes, it is. So then we stand in this field, we hugged, and we consciously raise our frequency, and we raise it much stronger and much faster than using actually natural portal. Our consciousness is extremely, extremely strong. Everything is created by it, including that stupid portal. So we can consciously do things, but we don't know we can do it because nobody ever told us this. And when we were raising this frequency, I said to myself, well, I'm going to energize my bed on a boat. So this way I go to sleep and my frequency is automatically going to be rising. And I did that. I just went and I forgot what number I put there. I said, I don't think I even put number. I just said this bed, and in my mind, I circle it, resonates with very high frequencies. And this way I knew every time I go to bed, I'm sleeping during the night, my frequency will be affected and rising. Well, I did not sleep very well. I was waking up at night, but I didn't make any connection. Until third day, my wife says, I don't know what's going on, but I cannot sleep lately at night. I keep waking up and I go, wow, is that to do something with me raising the frequency over there? So I went and I consciously erased the frequency. I said, okay, the frequency, be gone, be natural vibration. And we slept like a baby again. Okay, so power of our mind is incredible, but we just don't know how to use it. Mm-hmm. So we are just now tapping, we are experimenting a little bit here, a little bit there, just tapping with the stuff. But I love machines. And of course, when MedBed will be here, I'll be the first one in line. I want new teeth. I want more hair. I'm losing hair. I want this to be done. I want my left eyesight to be restored properly. So, of course, but why do I need it? Because I don't have faith in my knowledge, in my understanding. Because if I would have faith in what I'm saying, I could be like a Jesus. I could levitate. I cannot do it, even though I know principles and I know that everybody can do whatever Jesus did. But we all lack faith because we have so many false programs running that it's so difficult to disengage from them.
We all wear the
And-
tinfoil hats.
Right. And this is why we are going to be eventually, and I hope soon, we are going to be zapped with frequency of light from a central sun to annulate, to erase all these programs. I hope this is going to happen soon, maybe this year. But again, who knows? Because in time, I always screw up. We don't know the time.
Frustrating, man. It's frustrating.
Yeah. But, you know, we have to start trusting our power that we have. And again, I tell everybody, get pendulum, get dowsing rods, or start practicing kinesiology. You know, any way you want to do it, there are many ways you can practice kinesiology. So you start communicating with your soul, and you get your answers directly from the conscious field.
I guess that's what it is, isn't it? You like trust, isn't it? Trust in what you believe and trust in like experimentation as well. You like, oh, I believe in this, I believe in that. Everything's belief. We need proof as well, don't we? Like what you
Right.
say is experiment, and the proof is in trying it yourself, right?
Definitely. Because we learn.
Because you can tell people.
Yeah. We only learn through our
Right.
experience. Everything else is a paratalk.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And this is why I encourage everyone to do the protocol.
Before
You
you
know,
before you tell
and
somebody else. then
before you talk, and
Mm.
also to understand your body better.
Uh,
You know, I can tell you need salt, but then the brain, because of the programming, the ego actually tells you, no, but you know, salt is not really so, you know, blood pressure, you know, the heart, you know, water retention. Okay, so it's always in the back of the mind. No matter how many times I tell people, it always comes to the same. Wow, I never had problem with the swelling of my ankle, and now I cannot get rid of the swelling. You know,
Mhm.
salt is really not so good, but it's not a freaking salt, it's toxin.
yeah.
Okay.
I was saying to the guys last week we were going to get on, obviously couldn't get on. And I'm still experimenting because I said to you, I'm not quite there yet. I'm introducing more like raw foods. But I said about how much, I mean, just in your opinion, if you didn't stick to the complete protocol, even just introducing the salt water helps because I feel 100 times better than I did before. Literally before I was saying to the guys, I was literally nearly getting dizzy and collapsing, but now I don't even have that. Like I'm full of sort of energy, and I'm not even doing it 100%. So if you were saying you didn't stick to the protocol, is it even beneficial just to add the salt to the extent you say, like, you know, a minimum of it's going to help you anyway. It's not going to obviously cleanse you completely, but it's a good because I mean I said to you before I was getting tingling down my whole of my body. All that's gone. I don't get that anymore, and that's
Mhm.
pointing at low electrolytes, which is what salt is, right? Minerals.
You definitely, everybody receives benefits by
It's
drinking
not
plasma.
what I'm kind of trying to say is it's not going to mess you up, is it? If you don't go 100% straight away, right? It's still going to be
No.
beneficial that you just
It's
introduce.
always beneficial. Actually, it is easier on a body
Yeah, because
because
I am. It's exactly what you are saying. I am getting spots on my legs because I'm not getting the daily diarrhea. It's coming out from my skin. This is why I completely come back to you all the time, and it's true what you're
Yeah.
saying. It's you can see it yourself, right?
Well, because again, I had to experiment.
Mm.
It's one thing, you know, I probably have mentioned this already, but I asked early in my process of awakening, I asked Source, Father, I call him, or God, whatever you want to call it, to not to talk to me, because at the beginning, he was talking to me. And I said, I want to develop the more of a telepathy, of an intuitive feeling towards things. So only talk to me if I make mistakes, if I misinterpret things. And, you know, this was working, but again, it put me in a particular situation that I feel abandoned, because I get the idea, and I know it's not my brain talking. I'm getting the idea. I'm getting the download. But then, since it is so different from anything that I have been told, I have to experiment to see if it really works this way. And once when I discover that, okay, for me, it works this way. Well, is it going to work the same way for you, or for John, or for Emily? You know, so sometimes with certain things, like with salt, it is obvious, because everybody feels better when you go to the seashore and you swim in the seawater. You always feel better, and you're absorbing the water, and you know that you're absorbing the water because you have to urinate a lot. So you are right away cleansing as well, and this is why you feel better. So this is very, very obvious. But again, not to doctors. More indoctrinated you are, the more difficult it is for you to even pay attention to what you see, because you know that salt is bad. You don't want to even think about other options. And this is what indoctrination brings to us. Schooling, you know, all these experts, they're experts in science, not in science. They don't know the truth. And, you know, to me, it is now when I'm talking to myself, I ask, okay, take the veil down. I actually want to talk to you again. Yeah, but I'm not getting anywhere. Because, you know, Father, you're doing good. You don't need me. You're doing good. Yeah, but I want. You know, so, you know, always be careful what you wish, because you're going to get it, and then was that really what you wanted? So I really feel very often, I feel like abandoned, like I'm getting with this crazy idea, but is it really true? So I'm doing my experiment, but I cannot prove everything. And
It's really
again,
hard because, like, I came back to you and I was telling you, I think the conversation was the primal thing, and I see that, and I see quite a lot of it recently, and everyone's so against salt, you know, like, but that you're seeing people doing the primal diet, but they're still ill, and it's like I'm trying to say, look at Darko stuff he's trying. No one wants to look at that, and it's like you've got to be careful as well, because it's quite cultish, isn't it? Because they have these leaders like Origenus, as though who all they are looking up to, isn't it? And
yeah,
he demonized salt, and it's just a whole sort of kind of vicious circle, isn't it? But
well,
I think it's got to be like sort of trusting yourself and experimenting, but not just being like uh, taken to sort of a leader. You know, this is what's always been to me, was like, why doesn't everyone work together for the perfect solution? You know, like, I
well,
don't know.
everybody wants to be relevant.
Mm,
And this is one thing that we have to understand, that we are consciousness, and we are equal as the consciousness goes. We have a different goals, and we go through different situations because we took on different problems and different experiences. But this doesn't mean that we are physically, as robots, different. The robots are the same.
There's all
And-
levels of toxicity as well, right? Everyone's different
Well,
levels of toxicity.
Toxicity could be different, but the robot and how it will react and how it is put together, it's the same.
Mhm.
Okay, this is like, you cannot tell me that Arabian horse that spend most time in Africa and Sahara and ate those crickets and flesh and blood of camel. Now, if you bring him to green pasture, now he's going to die because his metabolism is adjusted to that. It's not true. It will take little adjustment, but it will adjust and it will live like a Belgian horse that was always on a green pasture. Because it's a horse mechanism. And we are human mechanism. So you can be a fisherman at sea and only eat fish, and then you come away from the sea, you go in a country and there is no fish and you can eat meat, you can eat, I don't know, cow, you can eat rabbit, you can eat whatever, and you will get nourished. You know, so it's we are not programmed differently because we live in different area. We are just adjusted different. And the adjustment, body does. But again, if you start feeding it with something that is not meant for it, then you are readjusting the whole thing. You are taking it out of alignment. And this is what problems happen. And one of those things that we should not eat is dietary carbohydrate. And this is why animals in nature, they don't show aging process. They don't show any diseases, no chronic diseases, nothing. Because they don't have access to carbohydrate. Because in nature, it is always protected with cellulose. But once when you start cooking, destroying the cellulose, processing, well, now we are putting in your body completely different type of a fuel, which needs way different adjustment, which takes the body out of alignment. And this is the problem.
I'm seeing that with the primal now, it's floating in saying, you know, strict diets like primal, we need carbohydrates is coming back in again. Like, you know, like you can't be strict
Yes.
with carbohydrates.
Because again, they don't understand. They think that because they feel bad and they not bad, they feel tired. It's always the same case. I feel tired. I can work, I am a sport active, everything, I can work well, but when I relax, I go to sleep, my body doesn't have energy, I feel drained. Well, why do you feel drained? Because your body goes into detox. But once when you start poisoning, the body doesn't go in a detox because it's poison.
Mhm.
So more energy is left to watch TV and read stupid book.
So I was looking at the guy who's doing the primal. I think he's got immune problems and he's at the hospital. He's like they're trying to get him on antibiotics. He's taking it, but he's still doing like raw meat and he can't find a space like to get himself better. And he's like
Well,
between farmer and between primal. And I actually sent him a message about you and they just won't like see it because it's something completely different.
yeah,
And this is what I think guys like Emily and John have met with the carnivore. Like I was like I said to you, I was totally brainwashed by the fruitarianism, like, you know, and it's sort
yeah.
of trying to look at different things and everyone's so like you can't
Yeah, well,
say nothing because they're stuck.
when you are toxic, the body will need plasma to detoxify. And if you start poisoning yourself, your body automatically wants to detoxify. So you are on a meat diet, you are not poisoning yourself with the plants. The body immediately tries to detoxify, but it needs plasma. Since animals are loaded with salts. Muscle is full of salt. Tissue is full of salt. So if you start poisoning yourself, then you start, through eating meat, you are gaining salts. And you slowly start increasing the plasma level. And more plasma, it's like a river rising in a dirty area, and dirt from the shore comes into the river. Your plasma level rise, your blood level rise, toxins from the tissue start seeping in. And you start having symptoms of toxic blood. And your body start actually requesting more plasma now, more water, to be able to eliminate these toxins from the blood, and starts soaking at every possible drop of moisture from your intestines, leaving you constipated. And all these people, when they go on primal diet, because they don't take salt, they start not on salt, they don't take water, because they are also
because they're just literally drinking milk, aren't they? Like,
yeah, but milk also brings you stuff to eliminate.
yeah,
Milk is perfectly
Uh-huh.
balanced to eliminate what it brings in,
uh-huh,
but it cannot help you eliminate extras.
uh-huh. It's like you say, isn't it? It's like you could do the milk diet, but you still can't take out the plasma, right?
Right, you still need additional plasma. And if you refuse to do it, then you will have symptoms of toxic blood and more toxic blood and more toxic blood, and not eliminated because plasma levels are low and toxins are not very strong. So body is kind of playing, okay, give me more plasma before I do this. And you start blowing up, you start having problems with inflammations, with retention, dry excrement. Well, that's where it comes from. Wrong instructions. Carnivore diet is good. If you are born as a baby and start eating right away correctly, you don't accumulate toxins. Then your meat that you eat provides you with all the minerals you need. All you need is a little bit of water additional, and you are fine. And you will live long life. You will not need anything. But all of us, we start with toxic bodies, and now we are changing into carnivore diet. We are already toxic. So body starts releasing toxins. You have to increase plasma levels to allow body to eliminate these toxins. If you don't do it, you get stuck with toxic blood and symptoms of toxic blood. But
Makes sense.
Sorry, can I ask
Yeah.
a question?
Yes.
Hi there. Hi. You
Hi,
just mentioned hi. I just wanted to ask. You just mentioned something now. Because I feel like my body's releasing stuff. Because I've been on a carnivore diet for a few months now. And what did you say? I'm so sorry. I kind of missed that point. Did you say that we need to take vitamins? Is that right? Is that
No,
what you said?
no, more plasma. More plasma.
Oh,
More salt, not because of salt, but because of the water that it brings with it.
okay.
Okay, and then the surplus of salt is going to trigger the necessity for cleansing. So you will cleanse easier.
So how do
And
I do that?
Drink plasma. So
What do you mean?
drink water with sea salt. Okay, you have to put, let's say, 10 grams of sea salt into a liter of water. You
Okay.
bless it, mix it, and drink 1 liter first thing in the morning, and then during the day at least 2 or 3 more liters, because you have to achieve morning diarrhea. Morning diarrhea tells you that you are well hydrated, that you are not going to be dehydrating by having diarrhea, because body will use the surplus of plasma you drink to run the diarrhea. So you'll be actually hydrating and having diarrhea simultaneously. This is why you need this big amount of plasma every day.
Okay.
And quickly the symptoms start changing and your body starts improving.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
I'm going to
welcome.
try that. I think I tried before. salt and water, but I didn't like the flavor. I find it very.
Takes a while to get used to it. Have you seen
Yeah.
the files and stuff, Edna? Are you new to it or completely new, or
Sorry, I didn't get that.
are you completely new to the protocol? Have you seen? I think the guys have put the files in the group, so I don't know if you've read it or been through the whole system, or
I haven't. I didn't get. I don't think I don't think. I don't know where the protocol is. I'm not sure, but yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
get. I
I
mean,
think-
I'm new as well, and there's quite a few of us new. Some have been doing it for longer, but honestly, like if you're in the group, just message people and they'll send you in the right direction.
I think
Send
Edna,
you Darko's protocol and stuff.
Edna, are you in the carnivore group? Are you probably not in the Self Healers Protocol group, are you?
I'm not sure. I'm in the Facebook group, and then yeah, that's where I am basically.
The carnivore Facebook group, perhaps. So because I've got the two groups, and sometimes we get
Yeah.
people off each group coming in. So I don't know how aware Edna is of the saltwater protocol.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. You see, that's very tricky because I will try it, but I have like different health conditions as well, which I'm trying to manage. I'm sure the salt and water is not going to hurt me, but I just wonder sometimes. I don't know. I will try it, but yeah, maybe seeing the protocol will make a lot more sense because I'm
sure.
trying different things.
So we have a group. It's a Facebook group called the Self Healers Protocol. If you join that group,
I'm not in that. I'm not
you
in that
join
one.
that.
You must be part of it though.
No, because this is open to a couple of groups. This Zoom.
Okay, you
And Darko here, Edna, is who created the protocol. Who's so we've got the protocol. Yeah, Darko will send you the protocol.
Great, thank you. What's it called again, the group?
Self Healers Protocol. Is it? I think that's the name of the group, isn't it, John? It's like SHP or Self Healers Protocol.
I'll find the link and I'll post it in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
And then
I'm going to look
more.
into that straight after this meeting. I'll do it. Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have the files in there?
Well, it's probably best to email Darko for the
Yeah, exactly.
Because we ask for donations.
100% do.
But you can help each other, guys. You know, somebody needs something, just send them the material. Doesn't matter, because it's in our interest for people to heal.
Thank you. Yeah. So, did you find the link, Steve? That it's in there.
I put it in there.
You put it as a direct one to me.
Is it direct? Oh God, honestly.
While he's doing that, Darko, I just have a question from somebody in the group. I can't remember. It might have been Ruth or Sophie, and she wants to know: can you hinder cellular hydration by eating salad, say 3 times a week? And she's suggested cucumbers and tomatoes, which are actually fruits, aren't they? Not every day, but sort of 3 times a week. Will that stop cellular hydration and cellular detox?
It will slow it down.
Yeah.
While this is in the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if you are well hydrated, within 8 hours, your blood is going to be clean. So, of course, if you are not using blood electrifier to force cellular hydration, then most of this cellular hydration and cleansing happens during the sleep because of sheer energy required for it, which is not there when we are producing thoughts. So when we are not producing thoughts, we are more energetic. So during the sleep, you hydrate and cleanse on cellular level much better than during the day. So if you eat, you should not eat anything toxic later in a day. So you can have it as an early lunch and make sure that by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, this is already cleansed from your blood so that during the night, you can actually go into cellular hydration and cleansing. If you decide to do it, right? I also love salads. I love everything I should not be eating. And this is why I'm also cleansing slowly, because I'm strict 2-3 days, and then I have a piece of chocolate, or I have sip of red wine or something else, And then once when I have piece of chocolate, I said, well, I already screwed up my cleansing, so I'm going to have some wine, and then I'm going to have some peanuts or whatever. So I make mess out of myself. Then it takes me 2 days to cleanse. Then I am good for a couple of days, and then but again, I don't have any issues with my body. So I'm cleansing because I should cleanse. And so I look a little better and a little younger. To me, it's not so important anymore because soon we are going to be in control of our manifestation. So we will be able to make ourselves look any way we want. But people who have certain health issues and they want to heal, then they should not be cheating. They should be as strict as possible. And once when they feel good and everything is fine, they can have occasional cheating. They just heck of it. The only problem from my experience is once when I cheat, then it's very problematic to being strict. It's mind working, it's addiction to food, addiction to certain things which we should not be consuming. I have a rainy day now here in jungle. You can see through my window. It's like you cannot even see back the jungle because of rain. And it creates a lot of noise. So if I'm not talking, I have to mute my microphone.
Edna, I've just dropped the link for the Self Healers Protocol group in the chat here. If you click on it now before this chat closes, and then
Okay.
it'll open in another window for you, so you've got it.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to juggle this. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna try and join before then. Thank you very much. I've just seen it. Okay. I'll try and join it. I'll try and join it now. I'm just scared this shouldn't switch off, I think. I'm not sure.
No, it's just when the Zoom chat closes, the
Mhm.
meeting chat disappears, so it's worth clicking on it beforehand.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna do that now. I'm just trying to maximize. Something's happened. It's frozen this now. Oh, sorry. It's my phone thing. Maybe if I go back, I'm not sure.
Does anybody else have any questions for Darko? Because we kept him quite a long time.
No, I'd just like to say thank you, Darko.
Let's check Edna's got the
Can I just ask a question? One, I know I've blabbered on a bit, but I joined late. Was it Mark had posted about, because I mean, I'd said to Darko, I work about the flush. That does it necessarily have to be on a morning, or can it be on an evening?
Well, what is happening is that
Because I have seen it's the mucosis, isn't it? The mucal on the morning. Sorry, go on, Darko.
Yeah, well, during the night, there's more cleansing going on than during the day. For reasons I have explained. So you will produce more toxic mucus, which will be then held in your stomach, in your mouth, in your intestines. And this is why it is preferable to flush it out after your sleep. Now, if you have a night work and you sleep during the day, then again, when you wake up, you do the flush. Always after you wake up, after you have your sleep, because this is when you will be the most toxic.
Because obviously, and then you're going to be eating as well, aren't you, during the day as well? So it's going to kind of change it as well.
Right, and also, the longer you have toxins, and they start bothering you. Okay, so if you want to have discomfort, then flush them out as soon as you can.
Yeah. And in terms of coffee, mate, I have a coffee van. We've discussed this, and I am going to give it up. But in terms of if I'm working with coffee and I'm grinding coffee and it's in the air and I inhale it, is that going to stop the pump just by inhaling it? I guess it's the same thing, isn't it? Smelling alcohol,
It
etc.
is, right.
So I have to sell the business, yeah.
You don't have to sell it. You can put a mask on.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's not talk about that.
Oh, it's-
life.
Pretend it's COVID.
Exactly.
I have one friend, client, who is has a farm producing garlic,
Oh God, right.
and he has the problem with the left knee. And when he went on the protocol, he started having problem with both knees because the other one was closed and now increased toxicity and it was released from the body, actually create pain on the other knee. So now
Wow.
for him to stay in a business, he now has to handle the garlic with a plastic gloves
Wow.
because garlic, you touch it and in 10 minutes it's in your breath because it's very highly absorbable.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but he didn't have to leave the business. He still does what he does and he is healing, but he
Yeah,
has to
more
be
precautions.
protected. Yeah, be more cautious.
Wow.
You have the grinder for coffee, no? So put some filter around it so it doesn't pollute the air.
Yeah.
That's another
There's
option.
ways of doing it. Yeah, you just have to be more,
Yeah.
like we said, precautious and
Right.
wow. Lots to think about.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much, mate. Appreciate it. Good to talk to you.
You're welcome. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
thank you. And I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Em, and thank you, Darko.
Yeah.
Okay, John, thank you for being here and
Ciao.
for the work you are doing. Great.
Edna, I've sent you a private message on Facebook with the link.
Oh, thank you. I've clicked on the link there
Okay.
to join the group, the SHP.
Right. Yeah, I've got you. I've got your so I'm letting you in the group. Ace.
Thank you.
So somebody else is going to be learning about Darko's work. It's great.
Thank you very much.
So does anybody else have anything for Darko, or Darko have anything for us, or?
Are we just, or is everyone just going to go and donate on PayPal? Is everything working on PayPal? I'm like happy to go and donate.
Yes, we were going to suggest, yeah, everybody on the Zoom, if they could, to donate, that would be great. Has everybody got the link? Because we've come from different groups, haven't we? So if we put Darko's WordPress site is, and then you go on there and there's a donate button. Is it darko.velcek@wordpress.com? Yeah,
it's Darko Velcek .word.com. It's complete name, Darko Velcek.
Oh yeah, and there's a donation
WordPress.com.
link, isn't there?
So there's not a dot. So I've just put one in the chat now with a dot in it. That's just going to confuse people. So it's Darko Velcek.
That's what I found it. I won't do it a direct message. I'll try and do it to everyone before we go.
And then on there, yeah, there's a donate button. So that would be much appreciated.
Right at the bottom right now, if you want to do it.
Oh, there we go.
But Darko doesn't ever
Anybody
push it. We just
copy that.
do it for you, mate, because we really appreciate it.
Yes, we do appreciate you coming on here.
Who can help? I really appreciate it because, as you know, I have no income other than donations, which I receive.
Yeah.
This is going to change once when we take down the system, but, it's dragging and.
And I've read the book. I've just read Resonance of Nutrition, and I really enjoyed that book.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. That was really good as well. Yeah. So recommend that, guys, as well. Okay.
Resonance of Nutrition.
Okay. Are we done?
I think so.
Thank you, Darko.
Cheers, Darko.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Nice to
Bye-bye.
meet you.
Bye.
Bye.